everyone, and welcome to the latest Retail ThinkTank brainstorming session. The Retail ThinkTank is where the Retail Touchpoints team is bringing together the best and brightest in the industry to talk about the latest industry news, developments, and trends, and most importantly, to uncover ways that brands and retailers can capitalize on new business opportunities. I'm Jessie Dowd, Senior Editor of Retail Touchpoints, and today I'm talking with Ernie Naylor, President of Karrot, and David Nelson, CEO and founder of Bumped. Thank you both for taking the time to join us. I'm so excited to have you on the line because we're going to be exploring loyalty today. So to get started, as the world reopens, what do you think is the most critical for retailers to think about when it comes to loyalty now?
I mean, we've seen, prior to that pandemic, already starting to see changes in consumer behavior, right? And the pandemic, all that did is accelerate everything to light speed. And now afterwards, there are some market forces at play that retailers and brands have to deal with, everything from supply chain issues to inventory issues. All the while, customer expectations remain at an all-time high. We're seeing never like before, consumers being able to shift so easily between brands and retailers. And I think all of this, what that's telling us is loyalty is paramount, right? Loyalty can make or break a business. And so if a company hasn't gone in and take a look at changing their outdated strategies, changing their outdated techniques to catch up to where the marketplace is and where consumer behaviors have gone, they're behind the times a little bit. And they really need to do that very, very quickly. And so here at Karrot, we are a loyalty and engagement company. We help companies go through that process in taking a look at what really is the customer's buying journey with them. How does an individual want to interact with a brand? Because we're both data-centric and people-oriented, and in the end, it's all about the people. I'm always reminded of a quote from Dr. Maya Angelou, which says that at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or what you did. They'll always remember how you made them feel, right? And that's kind of where that interaction comes back between a brand and a retailer and a consumer. It's all about how you made them feel and that emotional connection that you can make with an individual. Because if you make that emotional connection, if you deliver on a great experience, that's really when you start building true and genuine loyalty with a customer, because now you're looking at your overall relationship with them. And that's kind of what brought us together. And the partnership between Karrot and Bumped is because we're looking at, well, how do we build an emotional connection, right? How do we build a sense of ownership with that individual to that brand or to that retailer? Imagine having a reward where the individual has a sense of ownership with you, right? Or they're really tied into your business's overall performance, right? That's when we start building that relationship, right? That's when we start building that genuine loyalty. And that's kind of where, I'm really excited about the solution that we have and the integration that we're doing between our two companies.
So how did this come to be, and what makes this more powerful than, say, traditional rewards?
We're actually trying to innovate and change some of the dynamics of loyalty in general. I think you've seen over the course of the last couple decades, a lot of models that leverage points and miles and cash back. And so you have this totally new mechanism of reward that can build this kind of genuine relationship between the consumer and the brand or merchant that decides to participate in the model. And so the partnership sort of formed under this, Ernie being very innovative and kind of seeing the dynamics of reward and loyalty, as well as everything that he was mentioning with regards to the pandemic, saw an opportunity to bring some of what we're doing into, his portfolio of companies. For Bumped, we're an enterprise platform. So our goal is to create a world of owners And so with this enterprise platform, being able to facilitate folks like Ernie and his team to bring this into market for his brand and merchant partners was a real opportunity between the two of us.
What do you see as a major issue in traditional programs?
I think when we start taking a look at kind of traditional loyalty programs and what maybe retailers are doing out there, they become very dependent upon promotions and discounts, right? And that can be a very vicious cycle that a retailer can go through, right? In order to spur sales and to get repeat business, they're doing a promotion or sending a discount code out to an individual. It becomes up and down, right? And it doesn't really build kind of true and genuine loyalty with an individual. All that's doing is reinforcing a behavior, right? You're just conditioning the consumer to only shop if they get the discount code. And again, that's the vicious cycle that these organizations get into. And then on the other hand, just offering discounts or offering points based upon purchases doesn't really build genuine loyalty, right? The goal is how do you create a genuine relationship with that individual? Because, like we mentioned before, they're able to go back and forth so easily. And what makes them going to be attracted to you over a competitor? And if you're just going against price, right, or going against discount, that isn't really a winning solution at the end, right? It's a lose-lose when it goes into there. So our goal of a program, when we talk about loyalty, is how do you build that emotional bond? You know, David just talked about the kind of the power of ownership and the sense of belonging that actually does create. And there's real data that goes into that. I'm sure David could probably share a little bit more of that, right? And that's kind of what excites us about this partnership that we have. We're able to use an additional lever within our programs where now we're looking at how do we create that bond? How do we create actual loyalty and a relationship with an individual apart from discounts and promotions within there? We get to get retailers into a proactive loyalty program rather than something very reactive, and working with us in examining where are the big inflection points that make a big difference in the customer interaction that we have with them. How do we really emphasize that? How do we reward individuals for their loyalty, and how do we reinforce the brand? Because it's not a kind of a linear process. It's a very continual process where we're looking at designing a program, analyzing what's really happening, rewarding the individual for that, reinforcing that, and then continuing that cycle again. And we're using this partnership and the tool David and his team has given us in order to kind of have that powerful lever where we give them that sense of ownership and we tie them into our client, which is the brand or the retailer.
I'll echo the thought and just say it's about relationship, not transaction. There's several merchants out there, as we all know, who do get in that vicious cycle, and you literally don't want to show up to the store if you don't have the 20% off coupon code, right? Because you feel like you're tossing money out the window. So how do you get out of that vicious cycle? How do you have consumers coming to your store for real and genuine reasons because they actually care about the validity and life cycle and support of the company itself, and they actually love the company. And so you have to come from a different angle.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into this concept of ownership. Investing has been an incredibly hot topic in 2021. So what does that mean for retailers that are considering rewarding an ownership?
Yeah, I'll hop in and just say, it's been really fun to see sort of the world wake up and understand that they have a voice. And so with some of what you saw, obviously with the AMC stuff, as well as I'm just totally blanking on the GameStop. Yeah, exactly. What you saw with both of those merchants and what they ended up experiencing with all of the new investors coming into the market and kind of rallying behind those brands. It just really shows you that people have a voice, people are paying attention. We're in a little bit of a different world where people pick up things very quickly. As Ernie alluded to, coming out of the pandemic, just these shifts are happening very quickly compared to how they did. And we've even, fast forwarded 5 years, the consumer and how they work from a digital perspective. So when you look at the stock market, really you just have this opportunity for people that are hungry to learn, hungry to understand. Better than 80% of people said that they would like to learn more about the stock market. And it's interesting, only about 15% of the world actually owns a stock in something. While half of us are in the stock market, a lot of us are in the stock market through 401ks or IRAs. And we haven't really had that just genuine feeling of walking into, say, a Target and that being our store, actually being a shareholder in the store and all of the emotions that come with that. And so I think you have a kind of a two-sided equation as we look at investing. It's not just investing, it's also owning. It's also all of the emotional connections of actually having a position in something, being able to tell your kids that we shop at this store or eat at this restaurant because we're a shareholder and we actually have a piece. And I think the world's much more aware now than they ever have been before about having their piece.
So next up, why don't we get into a little bit more of the specifics? So David, you spent 2 years in pilot, rewarding customers in fractional shares of stock and collecting data. What were the results?
Yeah, we, like you said, 2 years, and we were interestingly and fantastically approached by the Columbia School of Business as well as Texas A&M, and they wanted to gain access to that data, which is really nice because you have an independent study. And as you know, everybody always claims that they have these amazing numbers. So it's great to have somebody independently go look at that data and release a paper themselves. But overall, what we found across nearly every category is that consumer spending jumped by about 40% in nearly every vertical once somebody became a shareholder in a particular company. Obviously, certain verticals did phenomenally well. Some of them, like the gas category, they ended up seeing literally a 73% jump as far as overall amount of money spent. We even heard some word of people running out of gas trying to get to their gas station. In the pizza category, for Domino's as an example, it resulted in the equivalent of 24 more pizzas a year. For someone like Kroger, they had one full additional visit per month and $75 of additional spend. And then you start looking at some like the duopolies and things like using, say, Home Depot versus Lowe's, where Lowe's ended up taking a massive amount of share shift away from Home Depot, which was, I believe, like 25% share shift change. And there's just not a lot of ways you can do that. But once somebody becomes a shareholder, it almost feels a little weird going to the competitor's store, if you will. So a lot of the data ended up indicating as much.
Those are some amazing numbers. So how do you recommend that retailers adopt this new approach to rewards and loyalty?
I think first off, engage with us, right? Let's talk with us on that. But really, I think if you're a brand or you're a retailer, you want to start really observing how people are interacting with you. You want to start examining the journey from start to finish. It's an iterative, hands-on approach that creates actual innovative solutions. As I mentioned before, Karrot is a technology company. We're data-oriented. We're people-centric. And so we make this process, the solution between what we have here at Karrot and what David and his team has done at Bumped, seamless, very easy. It may sound like it's a complicated thing in order to start investing in stocks, we don't make it that way, right? So we try to provide and deliver on a really great customer experience. So it's very seamless to the individual. It's very open. It's very, very painless, right? When someone's shopping, or dealing with us, we want to make it very seamless, very easy, no hurdles, right? And overall deliver a great customer experience. And I think that's kind of where we see, data and people start coming together. We're really looking at what are the data points. How do individuals want to engage with a brand or a retailer? Reinforcing that brand, giving them a reward that is very meaningful and that is building a relationship. And when you start doing all of that together, you start really creating and delivering a powerful solution and a powerful loyalty program that in the end is delivering real results for the brand and for the retailer. So, we're here for the entire journey when we engage and work with a company and looking at how does that program work for the organization? How does it fit the culture? How does it fit the audience within there, right? Because we really want a genuine program that feels real to the brand, because then that's what you deliver upon. And that's when individuals feel like, yes, I'm getting delivered something very true to the brand that I'm dealing with. I understand how my interaction with them results in betterment of the company and also betterment of me. And over time, right, I'm looking at the long-term relationship that I have with the individual, not just something at a very, very short term. I think that's kind of where the solution and integration that we have helps build upon that, helps deliver a great customer experience, and in the end creates genuine loyalty.
I love that you talked about the intersection of the data and people, because retail is really all about the blending of art and science. And so I thank you both so much for being here with us today and sharing your insights, taking the time to chat with me. And to all of you out there who are looking for more insights and research, dig into our Retail Think Tank Hub, where we have a wealth of fantastic resources. We're exploring everything from new revenue models to personalization, omni-channel orchestration, consumer trends, and much more. So be on the lookout for more great conversations just like this one in the coming weeks. If you have any suggestions or feedback, let us know in the comments below. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.